Jack already pointed out that Orly's a lot smarter than me. She would have not forgotten to thank the two people who I think everybody in this room has spoken to, Alia and Jillian from our office. They did a terrific job and made this possible, so I want to thank them as well. So let's not forget that this is a business-to-business summit, and you folks are here to learn from things. And yes, it's going to be perpetual, evolving, open, and digitally available on USB keys, which you can order in the other room and on our website. But I think our next speaker can really help us understand a couple of concepts. So Ken Rother is the COO of TreeHugger.com and the VP of PlantGreen.com, a discovery company. They are a phenomenal force, TreeHugger and PlantGreen and discovery generally. And Ken will share with you folks, business owners in Queens, his experience with speaking to the green consumer and green business generally. So thank you, Ken, for coming here. Appreciate it.
You can tell the business guy needs PowerPoints. The professional politicians do not. No offense to the professional politicians. So what I usually don't get to talk to people who are converted already. I mean, most of the time I talk, there's some people that are in the believe and some people who aren't really sure, and maybe they're trying to make a buck. This is a little weird, and I was sitting here thinking, Graham Hill, who started TreeHugger 4 years ago, has done a pretty amazing thing. I don't think he's personally responsible for what's going on, but sort of just watch the progression. This kind of meeting wasn't even possible a year ago. I mean, it was inconceivable to attend a meeting where there'd be this many people, and this is what they were doing for business. It wasn't thinking about it, they were really on their way. So it's really kind of eye-opening, actually. Let me just go through a couple of things. TreeHugger has been around for about 4.5 years. Anyone read TreeHugger.com?
I do.
Okay. We still have some more people to get there, TreeHugger.com. It's a good site. It's been around, so I said, it's been around for 4.5 years. When it was started 4.5 years ago, we could write a story a day, 1 or 2 stories a day when Green started it. There just wasn't that much green to write about. And now we're doing upwards of 40 stories a day. And what we do at TreeHugger is we try and be, we talk about being 95% carrot and 5% stick. We really like to focus on the companies that are doing the right thing. We know we've helped a lot of small companies by featuring their products and services. We try not to beat on people doing the wrong thing. There's a place for that, and there's other sites that do that effectively. We've been known to do it a little bit. But we're really trying to present a very aspirational kind of lifestyle. And what we want to convey is there's nothing, there's nothing at odds about living in the middle of Manhattan, or Queens in this case, and caring about the environment. No offense to anyone who's from Vermont, but you don't have to live in Vermont and care about the environment. You can live in Queens and care about the environment. And that's really what's been the message behind TreeHugger. So those of you who read it know that. A couple of, well, now almost 18 months ago, we became part of Planet Green, which is a channel that's part of the Discovery family and launched in June. Has anyone seen Planet Green? Oh, wow. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I don't know which networks carry it, which cable operators carry it, but we're just getting our wheels there, and it's just starting to take off, and we're learning what the programming should look like. I'm from the online side, though. And we also have a website called PlanetGreen.com. So between PlanetGreen.com and TreeHugger, we're getting about 3.5 million unique visitors a month. So we're pretty excited. It's the largest for-profit green environment site out there. The nonprofits like Sierra Club, they have a lot more, but in terms of a for-profit business, and it is a profitable business, we're the largest one out there. So what I thought I could talk about is a little bit about what we've learned in being a green company, what we have to explain to our advertisers about who our readers are. We're an advertising-driven business, so share some of that demographic information about who it is, why people are going green. We've done a lot of quantitative and qualitative data studies that may be a little expensive for a small business to do. So let me share some of those findings with you, and then a little bit on how to go green. I know today each of the panels really delves deep. what I wanted to talk about is some of the high-level bullets and maybe some of the gotchas that we've seen some really big companies stumble on that, hopefully we can stop you from doing that. So this is about TreeHugger, I don't need to do that. And for those of you who haven't seen TreeHugger, it's a the name is a bit of an inside joke. It's not about, it's not about the forest. It's about living a very modern lifestyle. We cover a lot of design issues, architecture, new products and services. It's very, very hip, very, very modern, very cool, whatever word your generation is from. And I will just zip through this. And Planet Green, which is the site we launched with the channel, is, I'm sorry, I have a habit of walking when I present. Planet Green, which is about the channel, it's all about activating people. So TreeHugger is very informational, kind of newspaper-ish, if you will, very timely. On Planet Green, what we do is really give people things they can do. Either products they can buy or things they can do themselves, but we really give them a place to learn and activities they can do and a community to interact with. And we're really starting to get some traction now. Every month is better than the last month, but we're quite happy. And some of the content's really getting picked up well. So lots of little things, and it's very timely content now. Tends to be things that can save you money either immediately or as an investment, and obviously that kind of stuff resonates really well these days. I really like this slide. It's not my slide. A friend of mine gave it to me. I don't think this group's going to think this, but maybe a few of you in the room are going to wonder. There's always a question, where is this going to? I mean, now that we've got the president we have, I think the issue is not going away anytime soon, and it's going to be dealt with appropriately. But for those of you who wonder, there's been these waves of environmentalism over the years. Way back at the beginning of the 1900s, there was a huge wave around natural resources and parks and forests, and a whole bunch of legislation came into being. And that wave lasted quite a long time until it sort of really reached crescendo, until there was a lot of protests, not protests in today's style, but a lot of political action, and eventually a lot of legislation was put into place. After World War II, there was similar groundswell. People came back, water was starting to be polluted. There was clearly a need to protect our resources. And again, it took this long time leading up to the first Earth Day for legislation to come into place and for people to start thinking about the world a little differently. So, put that in perspective, I forget when the Gore movie came out, like mid-2006 or something, and so that's when it really came into everyone's conscience, maybe if you were ahead of the time a few years before. But the whole issue of climate change has really only started a couple of years ago. We are nowhere near this issue being dealt with, being solved, being understood by the majority of people that are out there. So this issue is not going away anytime soon. So if you're worried about people are jumping on a bandwagon or your business is jumping on a bandwagon, don't worry about it. I mean, this is a big, we're just at the beginning. We're just at the beginning. We did some qualitative research about why people go green. We need to explain this to our advertisers, both for on air and online, so I thought maybe I could share a little bit of that with you. The first thing we call is the legacy. So we did a series of roundtables at people's homes in sort of these little dinner parties across the country. We did about, I can't remember, 20 or 30 a few months ago to kind of understand the consumer. And there was a selection process. There was companies that can help you do that. And before the event, we said, could you bring a small project that represents what you think green means? And most people made posters or collages or whatever. Almost without exception, whether it was an 18-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 40-year-old, or a 60-year-old, every single artwork had pictures of children. Whether they had children, they didn't have children, they had grandchildren. So people don't often express it that way, but in those people's minds, the issue of legacy was important. What are they leaving behind? People talk about it different ways, but that's what we call legacy. What can you say to your children or your grandchildren 50 years from now? What did you do to help solve this problem? And this was almost without exception. It was probably like 2 or 3 pieces of artwork across the board that didn't have some.